Okay, recording is on. Thank you so much. Candler Cook.
Yeah, thank you, Siddique, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it very much. Then you said something about the number of questions you got and it helped you to prepare it, and you watched a few of the episodes and you still decided to come here. That's a great sign. We did something that appealed to you. What was it? Go for it.
Yes, I would say two things. Was one, the level of detail that you put into each conversation, just showing everyone what to expect, just to get their thought process aligned with a few things that may come up during the conversation. And then two was just the variety of people that you've spoken with. I mean, there are people in all different industries with all different kinds of stories, and at the end of the day, I think it's a great thing that you're doing, and so I'm excited to be part of it.
Candler Cook, thank you for the testimonial. And now you're just running a testimonial from one testimonial. So we can show it at a time when they how can we support you? Support in a private chat.
It's a link to Amazon. To my book. Go ahead. Yeah, 1 second.
Oh my God! I asked for one guest, huh?
Oh yeah, sorry, my little puppy was coming in.
Yeah. Oh my God! Look at this. Yeah. Hey, you are not broadcast yet. You have to for next 15 minutes. Then I can broadcast you as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna put him down. Put him away for a minute. Let's see.
There's a private chat.
Here's the one.
Yeah.
I've got the link. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna send a shorter, basically Genius link that sends people there, because if you go to actual Amazon, the link is so long, but this one goes directly to Amazon. It's just a shorter link.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to visit this. What else is there on the link? It's just a redirection.
Yeah.
But just curious, do you have a website for your book?
No, I don't. I had one when it was first launching, but I actually saw that basically my social media was driving the action. It wasn't really the website.
Yeah.
And so I just decided from there just to streamline things and just focus on my LinkedIn and Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what is the ideal outcome of this into for you?
When you mean? Yeah, I would say just having a great conversation, really just putting a good message out there for people to enjoy, sharing it, and hopefully we'll start some people more.
So is that something to do with us getting signed?
It can be. I'll talk about what I'm doing now, but it doesn't have to be. I'll talk more about my book, and then kind of pivot to what I'm doing today. If that happens to bring clients my way, then at the end of the day, my goal for the book wasn't really to sell my stuff, to sell other people. I'm pushing to sell so accomplish their goal. So if that happens, then I'm very happy today.
Okay, wonderful. So senior vice president at investment strategy capital. That's going to own company as well.
So I own the company, second report to the CEO, and basically my job is to find quality company lending to, and then the underwriting approval process. So they've reached a time during the pandemic, we need to stay afloat. So really excited. As a vice president, was promoted to president. So
what this is?
Basically, it's most small businesses. So people are company there, and there are separate, out there, people with money that don't business. It's a small business want to give, and so because of that, that's going to get firms. They're all private companies.
So you focus on any small.
No, we're industry. The only industries we don't do are lender direct real estate, because there's so many real estate only funds out there that we want to focus on other businesses to get less. But anything else, I mean, it can be transportation, dental offices, anything.
So what's the sweet spot? Which is you have the most?
I think there's a spot. I think there's really a sweet spot for size. It's really companies that are 30 million. I think it's our sweet spot. They're just out of the startup phase, but they're not for companies. Yeah, it'd be pretty less than 10. So yeah, it's 10 to about 30.
Okay, 20 basically. Okay, and you're and get all the loans.
So it's really bit by the loan, whether it's equipment financing, the collateral, right? You have growth capital, and it's collateralized by UCC. So basically, the company's assets would pay us back. So we haven't had any loans go into default. So we haven't really had any issues yet where
how big report?
We have 48 million that's currently lent out.
Okay, and clients
that's roughly 40.
Oh, like $1 million.
That's because it may not have started $1 million. It probably starts at like a 2.5 back a little over time. So it's right now probably average $1 million. Yeah, I'd say the loans started average company probably.
Okay, understood. And what's the typical like a points and the interest rates and all that good
Yeah, great question. So yeah, there's only two. One is, those rates are 12 to 18%. So our rates are going to be a little higher than a traditional blend, 100 million, but they're going to be lower than what merge cash is. Those companies that a lot of small businesses go to get cash advances, 30 to 50% interest.
That illegal, illegal almost, That's what
so we actually lend basically the same companies. Those companies we lend from 12 to 18%, so much more competitive rates. And then origination, that's really like 5 to 6.5. So that's what we have.
Looking for you already.
We always are. Yeah, we're always looking for great ones.
So referral clients for them.
Yeah, so basically, if I find your own broker everything that can actually that money with lend, and someone does that, if he closes on it, whoever interests 1% of the entire amount, so now for my company, so the whole, so it's like $3 million, you get $30,000 for whoever interests.
So I'm not a broker. If I'm like a broker, no lessons. If they're
it's the same.
You still loan amount. I don't need to be a broker.
Exactly. You don't need some people that are brokers. They're always constantly sending us referrals. That's what they do. But then I have other friends of mine that'll just, hey, I'll just happen to come across a company that, somebody, a friend of mine, and they it'll just be someone who's completely different for a living introduction. So actually just had to happen on Tuesday. We closed one of those loans from good friends. So exciting, maybe even more so if someone's not a broker.
How many loans you are with? Because they do for living hustle. Right. You really want the loan broker the most. You can predict what can happen. How many loans are right now?
Just to reach out with, do something they all know completely different networks of people. Basically, it's really quality companies to be huge. It's not that it's foreign, but it's our in-house legal teams trained to some of the fault of what they. It's a small company, capital or or company that we make.
If you globalize it, you could percentage. Okay, understood. I asked you a very dumb one. The host is asking questions. Nothing with interview. I'm trying to you and you.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate it.
So if you have 3 loan brokers, if I get you 300 of them or 3,000 of them all over, you would do it.
Absolutely. We're always looking to make more less.
And then form a together. Partnership together where we together for the life of the account, not one time. Keep in mind.
Exactly. Yeah, so the great part about it is the referral that we pay. A lot of companies are similar time. They'll pay it monthly. So you'll get any billion number 1, number 2. We pay it all up front. So within 2 days of loan, you get the entire referral fee. And you would continue to receive anytime the company offers. So we have some companies that they'll offer us now to buy some equipment, and a year later they'll buy some equipment, and I'll just call the loan broker and say, hey, company came back to us to borrow some more, check in the mail.
Same percent. 1 point basically you get it.
Yeah. A loan comes from 2 people. Like if it came to you, we could give each person, but what happens to come through channels that together we can get.
Because 6 that, because the plenty.
Like 4.5 to 6. So
it's good. Okay, very good. Enough about business. Now let's talk about your book.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Let me grab it upstairs. I brought a copy of my favorite book downstairs, but let me go grab a copy of mine. I'll be
because here's a candle. When you're an author, you bring on a show. If you don't have a book, you come to the book. I'm just letting you know. That's keep in my principle.
Okay. I will. I'll grab it.
Okay. Wonderful.
All right, that's advice. I got it.
Okay. The author will ask all questions to this favorite book because I will ask you questions similar, and then what's the benefit to somebody reading a book? That's the key part. Okay. There's something is wrong with my computer. And done show. If more detail, we talk two in one.
Sure. That sounds
good. You want to look into the only and keep your eyes open, because people are looking at you when they're watching.
Yeah.
If you look down, they look down, they don't look at you, and then you lost the whole message.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I know it will be good. Don't worry. Yeah. Okay. I'll bring in a moment. Greeting, welcome, students. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, and for Success. On this session, we have a special guest, Kendler Cook. Kendler is an author and senior vice president at investment bank Strategic Capital. Welcome to our guest, Kendler Cook.
Appreciate you having me on.
Feeling is mutual. Let me start with this. What happened? Who you were surrounded with that strategy to do what you do today?
It's a great question. Really, that started when I was in college. I saw that finance was what I was interested in, what I wanted to get into. And the more that I had experience through different companies in finance, private equity, I saw that what I really wanted to do was really a blend of finance and interacting with people. And that's what I love about investment banks. We're lending directly to companies that we get to know them and their leadership team and see how that may tell a story that wouldn't necessarily appear just on a company's financial statements. So to me, it's really the perfect blend of numbers and dealing with people.
What are the top 3 mistakes to avoid?
The top 3 mistakes to avoid, I would say 1 is giving up on yourself too early. 2 is letting doubt or fear guide you. And 3 is letting negative criticism from the outside get to you too much.
I'd like to have a follow-up on your fear part. How you really deal with that?
I think you have to learn to overcome it. You know, until someone is very comfortable with something, their fear won't really completely go away. You have to learn how to push through it. It's almost the feeling of the first time when you're going off the diving board as a kid at the pool. You feel these nerves, your body may feel hot, you feel butterflies, and then you finally jump and you start to realize that it wasn't as bad as your mind was making it up to be. And then the next time, it doesn't really take you that long to get the courage to jump off of it. And then it just becomes easier and easier until finally it's a second thought and you're not afraid of it anymore.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
For me, I would say my greatest failure story was getting cut twice from UGA's football team. I tried out my freshman year and I tried out my sophomore year, and really had made a ton of progress and devoted my life to achieving the goal at that point. I had already transformed myself from weighing 145 pounds when I got to college, going from 4th string my senior year on the high school football team, to at that point, I had bulked up to 185 by the time I tried out spring of my freshman year, was cut from the team. And then the next year bulked up even further to 215 pounds. So I gained 70 pounds of muscle in about a year and a half, and was cut again from the team. And the second time I got a letter in my locker as I was cleaning it out when I was cut, and it said that I was too small, too slow, average strength, and a Division III player at best, and that I should strongly consider giving it up. And that was just very, very personal, in your face rejection that was tough to deal with. And what I learned is that I have within myself, and everyone has within themselves, the resolve to come back stronger and overcome things like that. So I recovered from it by pushing myself harder than I ever had, rethinking some strategies and developing myself even further, and then coming back the next year and easily making the team.
What are your top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
I would say 1 is you have to believe in yourself, because if you don't, there's no reason for anybody else to. Number 2 is that you have to understand that in life, that there's an inverse relationship between the level of recognition you get and the importance of the tasks that you're doing. So I'll make a football example. When you make a big hit in a football game, you know, hundreds of thousands of people are on TV and in person are going to jump up and down, start clapping, screaming your name. If you make a big lift in the weight room, a couple friends that are with you may pat you on the back. But then when you're making the right decisions on your own, like eating healthy, not going out and partying, things like that, nobody cares, and no one is there to say anything to you or pat you on the back for that. But that is the most important thing. That's where everything starts, and what leads to you being able to make those big achievements that everyone then recognizes. So it's really the work that you put in on your own that means the most. And for secret number 3, I would say you have to be specific. You have to come up with a roadmap that's, if you do A, B, and C, then you'll be successful. If you just have a big goal and no individual steps to get there, you're not going to make it.
We're about to start a lightning round. That means quick question and quick answer. Are you ready?
Yes.
What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for a lot. I'm grateful that the world is slowly getting back to normal after the pandemic, and also just grateful for what I do for a living.
How young are you?
I'm 31.
Candler, you are not 31, you are 18 years old with 13 years experience.
I appreciate it.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
Exactly what I'm doing right now, I would say. So that's one of the reasons that I'm happy and really appreciate it.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
It's a great question. That's really just by making sure that the task that you're going after is important to you and that you're willing to take all the steps to get there and not cut corners.
How do you start your day?
You know, I start my day really by taking a few minutes to meditate. And then I also like to read some before I get everything going for the day.
What is the advice you will give to a younger yourself?
You know, I would say really just to not let any one rejection or any one tough obstacle get you down too much.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
I think you really have to reverse engineer it and go all the way back to the idea behind it. You can't just describe the end product or the end customer. It really has to come from what's pushing you to come up with this idea, and what's the idea behind it, what's the angle that you're going to have on the competition.
What is the impactful book you have read and what did you learn from it?
So I would definitely say Hard Times Create Strong Men. It's by Stephen Arnio, and I learned a ton from it. It's a great book about what does it mean to be a man in the 21st century. And he talks about how there are a lot of men out there today that are really, they're not good fathers, they're not good husbands, they're not good leaders, they're not good employees, and the society is really hurting because of that. And so he talks about what does it truly mean to be a great man in all those categories.
Mm-hmm. I understand that you are author of a book yourself too. So can we talk about, can you show us your own book and why someone should read that book?
Yeah, absolutely. It's called From Underdog to Bulldog. You can find it on Amazon. And it's a book that I wrote that basically does two things. One is it details my journey to go from a fourth string senior year high school football player to walk on to the University of Georgia football team, get to play in a game, and then get to dress out for the SEC championship as well. And then the second thing is it's a self-help guidebook. It helps people develop a roadmap for them to achieve their own goals and dreams.
Why being impactful is important to you?
At the end of the day, I mean, human beings are put on this planet to communicate with each other, to learn from each other. And so if there's ever something that I have that I know that other people will go through or that they could learn from, then I think it's my job to share it and try to help other people that, you know, maybe aren't as far along as I am, because I know there are a lot of people that helped me when I was younger that just have more experience that I learned from. So it's really just about paying it back.
Who is your mentor and what's the impact?
I'd say Mike Jones. He was a guy that I worked for when I was at Home Depot. I was in finance and really learned a lot from him about really relationships and how you can fit in really blending numbers and interacting with people and making sure that when you're presenting a financial financial meeting or presentation, that you give actionable takeaways at the end of it, because you can have all the complex data in the world, but if people just leave the meeting without any clear idea of how to proceed, then you fail. You have to give actionable takeaways at the end of every meeting.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I would say for becoming the absolute best that I could be, and also for helping others do the same.
Who is your ideal client?
I would say it's really a business between 1 to 30 million in annual revenue. That's looking for a loan. Could be for growth capital or to buy equipment or for receivables financing. Just someone U.S. based that's really right in that revenue range.
How can we support you?
Go to Amazon.com and get a copy of the book. It's a quick read and it's written so it's age appropriate for all audiences. So would love for everyone to read that and give me feedback.
Yeah. We are about to wrap up. Kendler, I'd like to have a few words about your today's guest experience on the show. Here's my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
It's been wonderful. From the preparation that you sent out beforehand and to the way that you run the show, I think it's all very neat and organized and set to be impactful within a short amount of time.
What would you say as a final word?
I would tell people to never give up on themselves, never let anyone else convince them that they cannot achieve their dreams, and just stay after it and make sure that you stay organized and have an exact plan to achieve your goals.
Thank you so much, Kendler, for sharing your wisdom with us today. On the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team, we really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes. Thank you so much, Kendler. Really appreciate it. You're not as good as you think. You're better, man. You're very good in communicating. It's very effective. Watching from Pakistan, watching, reverse engineering is a new word for me. See, people are learning from you right there. I was looking at the comments right now.
Wow.
Because of the shorter format, I do not look at the comments because that will distract the message, so.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. However, I can see it right now. So, okay, so let's talk about what's a more priority for you, sell more books or sell the loans?
I mean, it's really, I'd say more focused on loans and then the impact that the book has. I don't care as much how many copies of the book are sold. Mm-hmm. I care how many people's lives that it really helps. So if I sell a bunch of copies and it's to someone and they just kind of sit in a bin somewhere and no one really reads them, then that doesn't do much for me. I more like it when someone says they learned something from it. Maybe they reach out and tell me about something they were going through. That's really meaningful in that. So I would say more just about clients.
You are looking at impact factor basically in a book, so.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the clients, I have a few minutes, then we can see if they make sense. Then we can have a follow-up conversation on a Zoom call later, And let me look at the schedule. You may want to look at schedule. What's your availability? We can do it at 3 p.m. East Coast.
And which day is that? Today?
Today.
Yeah, I can.
You can? Okay, it will be Cook.
One other thing that I'll mention in general about my company that nobody else does, or at least no one that I've heard of yet, we work incredibly quickly because we're lending our own money. So we're not going out and raising it with somebody else. Because of that, we're able to actually close.
That's called direct lenders, You are a direct lender, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So because of that, we're able to underwrite and close a loan within 2 to 3 weeks total. Mm-hmm. So that lets us move very quickly. Banks may take 6 to 8 months to underwrite this, but we can move much faster.
Okay, understood. So do you do webinars, or do you just like a one-off an application thing? How do you acquire clients right now?
Yeah, so basically, first I'll just get introduced via email, and then I'll have a phone call to introduce myself, get to know what it is that they do. And then from there, I'll just email them a list. It's all basic documents that they should have on hand. It's about 8 to 10 things. It's, financials, company tax returns, a pitch deck, an org chart for the business, things like that.
You want a one-to-one introduction, basically. That's what you want,
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you ever thought of doing a little webinar? It's the same content and many people push to the webinar. In that process, you can educate them and then they apply for the loan. You get a lot more educated people.
We haven't done it yet, but that's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. So are you open to that idea?
Yeah, absolutely.
That will save you so much time. And plus you can process a lot more because you're educating them. When you go from the education, then trying to get the loan, people love it, that you earn the trust with them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we can talk about that one. Here is the challenge. You say you pay a 1% ongoing as the two people involved, you pay 1% to each. I get it. No worries. I'm not greedy yet. So I never really look at the greed part. So 1% is a good number. Okay. For the portfolio. And I want to check with my attorney if I have to have some kind of lessons before I can refer, I can make a percent of the loan. I know it's not an investment, so I get it. Investment, I have to be a registered broker, you know, so in this case.
Right.
So however, I still have to check with my attorney on that one because I don't want to be work in a gray area at all. You know?
No, agreed. And we don't want anyone to either. But yeah, if he asks, so basically, because this is debt, this is not a securities or equity offering.
Yeah.
We don't have to, like, I don't have to have an SEC license or anything like that. So like someone who refers it definitely would not, but still ask him and just double check. But we make sure of that as well, because we don't want, you know, anyone that sends us anything to end up getting in trouble as a result of it.
Yeah, that's it. I just want to let you know because call is being recorded, so I have to make sure it's a to-do list on my side, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that's one. The second thing is we can get every loan broker in the US to work with you, outreach to them to work with you. Okay. How many people will accept? I have no idea.
Wow. Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. I mean, we would love that.
Yeah. So, and then they make a 1% and we make a 1% from that. It's like coming from two people, you know, because I'm introducing them. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes.
So is that acceptable term?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we are done, and you pay for the life of the account anyway, because they can have a multiple, you know, loans and you keep paying them.
Yeah.
We are good on that too. Only the one challenge is because we engage human capital in this to really run this campaign. Saying is very easy on LinkedIn. I can outreach to every loan broker, loan officer, or whatever, you know, loan brokers. However, there's a lot of human capital required to actually that one. So in that case, we would need a small portion as a like a retainer to engage on that campaign, which you can deduct from our 1%. It's like a paying against the deposit, basically, you know, deposit against the loan commitment about to come from that one. My goal is to get you the loan brokers and also the businesses, two different lines. I will go after both. Okay. Because most of the loan brokers are very lazy people. I'm saying it because that's who they are. I worked with many of them in the past. What they do is they get 5, 10 different clients. They get like a comfortable. I call them a lazy, not a comfortable. Okay. They are not aggressive. After that, oh, I have like a referrals comes to me. I have a 30 of them. They always 10, 20 different clients are coming, and I make 5, 10 sales, make $150,000 a month. And, oh, sorry, year. I'm good. My life is good, man. I said, yeah, that's now you become a lazy person in my book. I don't want to work with you anymore, you know?
Agreed.
Yeah. So I want a hustler, and it's very hard to make somebody from lazy to hustler. That way I will tell them, hey, you and I are going to the loan broker for the one reason, whatever the loans you have, go do with us. Okay. We are not asking them to get more.
Yeah.
They won't do it anyway. Just doesn't matter how much you tell them. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, and we can talk through any tweaks to if there need to be tweaks to the payment structure. So far that's kind of been the program. We only recently just approved doing 1% and 1% for two people involved. But if there need to be other changes, I can at least bring those to my board for discussion.
Understood. So the only thing you and I need to be discussing, which is a very important one in our case, is let's say $1 million loan, we make a 1% is $10,000. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
So 10,000, and we will bring you few every day or every week or something. And projected number is, let's say in a month, you get a 20 loans, just approximately. Okay. Or 10 loans or 5 loans. Does not matter. Look at the most conservative number you can imagine. And look at
And when you're saying this, is it for like saying 20 leads for loans, or are you saying if we close 20, or are you trying to get an idea of like the pipeline?
Yeah. We're talking about a close. I'm talking about a close. Okay.
Good point. Yeah. So I would say if you make 20 introductions, usually probably like, I would say 6 or 7 of those won't really fit the criteria. Like we have to have companies with $1 million or more in annual revenue. And some people may kind of round up and say that they're almost there, but then they're not really once I dig into the financials or something, or they're looking for something different, or they want to borrow more than 5 million, which we can't do. And then once we dig in from there, maybe the company's not really profitable or something, we eliminate a few more of them. So then I would say out of 20, there's probably 5 to 8 that do fit and that we approve and send out a letter of intent. From there could be a couple that we lose along the way. Maybe they just decide to not do the loan, or they lose out on the equipment or something like that. But I would say out of 20, normally 3 of those should go all the way through and close. It is kind of a numbers game, because there can be all different things. We've had companies that were right about to do a loan with us, and then they announced another round of PPP from the government. So we can't compete with free loans or something. So there can be all kinds of reasons to lose them. But I would say usually 3 out of 20 get through.
So that we are talking about a 15% conversion, is that right?
Yeah. But the conversion rate is much higher. Once I have that first call and just look through their financials, from there, it's probably like 40 to 50%.
Yeah, but
it's just that at the beginning, a lot of companies, like they may say like, oh yeah, I think we should be a good fit. But then you look and like the company loses $5 million every year or something that we can't really help out with. And so once we get past that first like conversation and just see the financials from there, it's pretty high conversion.
Understood. Candler, what we can do is whatever you're saying to me, we can put in a little video on a front. Here's the checklist. Here's the criteria we're looking for. If it doesn't match, don't even come.
Yeah, I like that, because at the end of the day, I always try to communicate well. Like if something is or is not a fit, I want to tell someone soon. I don't want to drag anybody along.
Yeah.
Want to go ahead and just communicate with them up front, because my firm can do a lot of things, but we can't do everything. And so if we're not a fit for someone, I'd rather just let them know and not take up any more of their time.
Yeah, I'd rather not even you invest the time. If you look at our process of becoming a guest, you knew everything what to expect,
Yeah.
And I can do is say, here's the checklist I'm looking for. $1 million revenue, this, and you are not bleeding basically for a long time. That's what that really is,
Yeah, exactly.
And we can show it on a PowerPoint right there. Here are the 3 main things. If you do not, these are the must, this is good to have, this is blah, blah, blah. And then they say, oh, okay, I am not good fit in the line 2, which is a must have. So I disqualify myself. We don't see them, you don't see them. I don't want you to waste time with people,
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't know. They know their numbers. Right. They may be lying. However, at least that will cut many of them,
It really will. No, you're exactly right.
Yeah. So we can do that one. So, okay, what's happening? Is it multitasking or somebody need you?
No, sorry. I'm going to let my dog outside. I think he needs to go potty. give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, all good now.
Okay, so let's look at your existing model. We can improve. There are so many things that can be done better. However, you are successful in doing a certain way, and let's just follow your model. So from 23 will close. In each one will be $10,000 for me. It will be $30,000 altogether. Make sense?
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yeah. That's clear.
Okay. When we come for the 3 o'clock our meeting, here's a little homework for you, Candler, if you are open to do it.
Okay.
Talk to your board if it's possible before the meeting. If not, then we can reschedule the meeting for some time when you have the answer.
Okay.
So from the projected revenue for that close, I want a 20% on a front as a deposit to the campaign. We can start smaller. We can start.
How would that be calculated? Like based on a loan that we've started working on or something?
No. I give you 20 people, $1 million plus. Okay. Whatever they say, they're stating it. I don't know. I have not spoken with them. We share a video, $1 million plus, do this, do this, do this, and then they contact you. Okay. They follow your checklist. They stated numbers. I can't verify because I'm not speaking with any one of them. Make sense?
Got it.
And when they fill up the form, just like you fill up the schedule calendar link, that's a lead to you. So based on the one a day, mean 20 a month, approximately small number. We are starting with very small together. Okay.
Sure.
One a day, kind of stated qualified. However, I have no way of verifying anything. Once you speak with a few of them, you and I both on the same side of the table to figure out the quality. Why? Because I'm making the much higher percent on the back. I have no desire to send you junk.
Right.
I'm in a business for 30 years. I will not be in a business. First in, still here, fish model. Yeah. So you have to do the right thing with the right type of people. We want a friendship for a long time to come. That's the purpose.
Sure.
So it's not a purpose of $6,000 is not going to break my bank on any level,
Right.
So
and will the 3 o'clock be at the same link as today?
I will send you a Zoom link, not this one. No.
You'll send me a Zoom link.
This is just a one. So you get the answer. So whatever the projected is number. So you say 1 to 30 million, we are looking at 1 million. I'm not even, some could be 10 million, some could be 50 million, 20 million. I'm very conservative when it comes to numbers. I look at your very minimum $1 million level, even though we will go after $10 million companies too. However, the lowest will be entry point will be 1 million, where if the loan close, I'm going to make a $10,000 from that. Based on what you offer, we are not even negotiating anything.
Well, so our loans go from 500,000 to 5 million. So we can still do a 500,000 loan, and that would be like a 5,000 referral. That's a pretty small loan, but we can still do that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at the number, everything at the 5,000 level, because I want the bare minimum, your entry point levels. When we do the projections, we do the bare minimum. 500,000 will be $5,000 loan. For me, it will be $5,000. Is that right?
Right.
So if from a 20, it will convert as a 15%, the way you have explained the numbers, that means 3 loans. 3 means $15,000. Make sense? So from $15,000, I need a 20% to start the campaign, which is $3,000. Okay. When you close 3, you take out, this is like a deposit thing. You take out 15 minus 3, you only pay me the difference. So at the end, your cost is no more than what we already agreed. I just want a smaller portion like a deposit.
Got it.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'll definitely ask them. I should have an answer by 3.
Okay, that's fine. If it's not answered today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, next decade, I don't really care. Because that's our model. Otherwise, we can't make it work. Reason is very simple. 2 things: skin in the game. And number 2 is I have a real people where I have a hard cost. My cost is a lot more than 3,000, which I'm going to give it to. Intellectual capital, how we do everything. And plus, you're going to follow up with all of them because you paid money on the other side,
Oh yeah. I'm great on follow-up. I'll follow up with people usually like 3 times before letting it go, because I don't want to bother them. But I also, people get busy and sometimes they'll say, "Oh, I meant to get back to you," so I always follow up.
So Candler, I have a different model. Are you open to that model?
Yeah. Tell me whatever you like. I'm happy to present any and all of it to my board.
I model of follow-up is different too. Either you buy or die. I will follow you up until you buy. That's how it's not 3. I have followed up guests for 2 years to bring a guest on this show.
Wow.
Yeah. Even though it doesn't cost anything to anybody, but my follow-up system will never forget. Zero chance of missing out anything with anyone. That's a bulletproof follow-up. Your sales will skyrocket through this one.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because we have a 3 o'clock. See, our follow-up at 3 o'clock. BAM5 model, book a meeting from a meeting. How you can miss it?
Right.
Understood?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we can sign up a formal agreement between our companies and grow together. You can say, I need that many brokers, that many businesses, blah, blah, blah. We can open up so much. I can go after every loan broker on LinkedIn and that will help you to grow to, I don't know how much is your capacity on on loan. Most of the time money is cheap, is available if once you have enough leads coming. Issue is acquiring a client, it's not the loan amount part for the lending part.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Let's talk at 3 and let's start from as small as you want to be. As far as it is more than $1,000, we will start. Then I will have a 1 lead every week. Okay, we just scale down. That's non-issue. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, and talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
हाँ जी,
जी सर,
समझ आ गई
बिल्कुल सर।
कि कोई कंफ्यूजन है कि ਇਹਦੇ ਚ ਕੋਈ
नो सर, कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं
है। वो 6000 ਤੇ ਆ ਕੇ 3000 ਤੇ ਆ ਜਾ ਕੋਈ ਐਸ ਫਾਰ ਲੋ ਇਜ਼ $1000।
बिल्कुल।
ਕਿੰਨੇ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰੇ ਅਮਰੀਕਨ ਲੋਨ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ? ਲੋਨ ਤੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੇ ਹੀ ਰਹੇ ਨਾ, ਲੈ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹੇ ਨਾ।
हाँ जी सर।
ਜਿੰਨੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਕਹ ਰਹੇ ਸਰ ਮੈਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਕਰਨਾ? ਤੂੰ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੈਸੇ ਪੇ ਲੋਨ ਬੁੱਕ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ, ਹੋਰ ਕੀ ਆ? ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ, ਲੈਣ ਮੰਗ ਥੋੜੀ ਰਹੇ, ਦੇ ਹੀ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ।
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਰ।
ਦੇਖਦਾ ਸੇਲ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ, ਬੰਦਾ ਆਪ ਹੀ ਸੇਲ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ।
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਰ, ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਸਰ।
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਪੋਟੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਲਾਈਫ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੀ ਉਹ ਲੌਕਡ ਆ। ਬਿਲਕੁਲ, क्यों नहीं? उन्हें आप ही ऑफर करता, मैंने पूछने की जरूरत ही नहीं।
हाँ जी सर।
ठीक है, आप इसको लिंक्डइन में वॉच करें। आप बताएं इस तरह की कैंपेन में आप हिस्सा बनना चाहते हैं, ये बताएं। आप पहले बनना चाहते हैं, नीचे लिखें यस, लेकिन साथ ही यस करने का फायदा नहीं, आप अपने साथ कमिट करें। मेरे साथ तो कर ही नहीं रहे, कमिटमेंट तो आपके अपने साथ है ना, अपने अपने आपको यस का है। लिंक्डइन की फॉरम प्रोफाइल आप क्रिएट करें, नहीं है तो अगर है तो वहां नीचे लिंक पोस्ट करेंगे, ये मेरी प्रोफाइल है। और जो आपको उसने अवैस ने जो लिंक्डइन की ट्रेनिंग बताई है छोटी सी 10 मिनट की, उसको इंप्लीमेंट करें। एंड दिस कैंपेन इज लाइक दे कैन यूज एज मच एज पॉसिबल। मनी इज चीप, पीपल आर विलिंग टू लैंड एंड दे आर विलिंग टू पे 1% फॉर द लाइफ। आपको 1% नहीं मिलेगा, ये मैं बता दूं, ये तो मेरा काम है ना, मैंने लाया हूं। लेकिन आपको पैसे मिलेंगे, कितने मिलेंगे? जिस तरह का आप काम करोगे वो हम बाद में डिसाइड कर लेंगे। डोंट वरी अबाउट इट। राइट नो फोकस ये करें, यस आई वांट टू बी पार्ट ऑफ दिस कैंपेन, दैट्स नंबर 1। फिर उसके लिए प्रोसेस को फॉलो करें टू गेट रेडी फॉर दैट कैंपेन। फैसला ये बात मैं ठीक कर रहा हूँ या नहीं कर रहा? मैंने कहा ये मैं बात ठीक कर रहा हूँ, ये बात यही है ना बात। पैसों पे फोकस नहीं करें, पैसे तो देखें वो हजारों डॉलर देने को तैयार है बंदा, ठीक है। और बाद में भी परसेंट अच्छी खासी, 10,000 5,000 आने वाला है एक एक क्लाइंट से, वो खुद ही दे रहा है। इसमें मसला ही मांगने की जरूरत नहीं है। और कल को कभी फ्यूचर जब आप बड़े हो जाएंगे तो मैं आपको सिखाऊंगा कि इस तरह की सेलिंग करते कैसे हैं। ये आप देख के सेल नहीं कर सकते, ये मैं आपको बता दूं। ड्रामा देख के ड्रामा क्रिएट नहीं कर सकते। ओके है, आपको तो समझ आ गई है, जो बात कर रहे हैं उनको नहीं पता है इस बात का। ओके।